Punched in the nugs, by the nugs. Punched in the nugs, by the nugs. Again, Phoenix loses game 2, 87 points total they score. They only give up 97, so yay, us. It's tough. It's tough going live right after a game like that. A winnable game for the Suns. A game that was a slog fest. The kind of game that you want against the Denver Nuggets, a team that has a high potent offense. Off nights from Jamal Murray, off nights from Michael Porter Jr., but then off nights from Kevin Durant. Chris Paul pulls his groin. You got to win those games. You got to win those games. I'll say this. I'm going to say a lot of things out of emotion on this podcast tonight. I'm going to be pissed off. There's things I'm pissed off about, multiple things. I'll say things I probably regret. I don't care. The Suns didn't care, Matthew, so why should I?
No, you shouldn't. Let it all out. What are you afraid of, man? You know, are you scared that there's some jamsters out there might be mad at you?
I don't
because
give a
you're
shit.
upset about this? Yeah, of course we're all upset. Even though I did predict 0-2, a closer game we're gonna lose. I did predict that. I know everyone's pissed off right now.
First off, I'm mad at you.
Yeah.
For predicting that.
Yeah, I know, but you know what? There were some things that we saw defensively that were good, but offensively, like you said, man, you got to have KD and Booker go at Jokic when Murray's not playing the way he played in game 1, and they got to win the game. They got to finish this team off, and they failed. They failed. Booker, a better game, but in the fourth quarter, just couldn't hit the shots either. So
nobody could hit the shots in the fourth quarter, man. Nobody. We started 0 of 9 from the field. 14 total points in the fourth. Yeah, that's how you go and you win games. I mean, again, I'll start off by saying this. I'll preface everything that I say tonight as I frustratingly dog the officiating, as I want to punch Nikola Jokic in his pink face for his moving screens. I'll say this. We just witnessed yesterday a team that started a series down 0-2 after losing 2 on the road, and they came back and they won in 7. And that was the Warriors and Stephen Curry and his 50 points in Game 7 over the Sacramento Kings. It can be done. But in typical Suns fashion, that's what it's going to have to take. Unless they somehow pull a NBA Finals run like the Bucks did against the Suns and win the next 4 consecutive games. That's what it's going to take. It's going to take forcing this to Game 7 and winning on the road for it to happen. Part of me is already starting to make peace with the fact that you and I, in about a week and a half, won't be doing podcasts for quite some time until the preseason begins. Because it's just, this ain't it. This ain't it. We've seen 2 different versions of the Phoenix Suns in this series. We've seen a team that can score at an insane clip and still doesn't win. And we've seen a team that can take Denver out of their game plan, play isolation defense, do what they want to do with Denver, hold them to 97 points, and can't win. So there's a lot of question marks as we prepare for Game 3. And it sucks because it's not till Friday, so we have to sit and stew in this shit until Friday, man.
Yeah, I'm on the opposite side of this. I know down 0-2 looks bad. I saw a lot of good things. We'll go over them. Only with the bench and how Monty did try some different things. I like how you can see that Ja could put up some decent minutes. I would still like to see a lot of Ross out there. There's some good things coming from this game. I know the shots did not go in, but Jamsters, you have to realize the way we're going to win this championship is going to be through Kevin Durant and Booker. They have to finish these games. They have to put up the 40-point games for us to win. If that doesn't happen, we're not going to win. Of course, Chris Paul's out, but is that going to make a difference? If we lose the series because Chris Paul's hurt, I would be shocked. So, we'll talk about it, man.
Plenty.
I feel a little bit better than John on this.
Yeah, I just feel defeated. I just feel like defeated. I feel like I just got the wind knocked out of me. This is a game that we should have won. Yeah. And we're up, and I'm like, okay, look, this is a good game too. And then just to see them completely lay a big old fat fucking egg in the fourth quarter, and you're like, oh yeah, Suns basketball. What did I hear recently? Somebody said, when I die, I want 6 members of the Phoenix Suns to carry my casket so they can let me down one more time. That's just how I feel as a Suns
Is that a t-shirt?
fan. It should be. I'm going to make that into a t-shirt.
We should in the offseason, the 6 guys that you want holding your casket. We should do that. Like the Mount Rushmore thing.
Oh,
the
yes.
6 guys holding your casket.
Yes, the 6 Suns who've let us down the most.
We need that.
Ooh, that's going to be a great off-season podcast topic of conversation, which might happen sooner rather than later. So this is a reminder, Jamsters, again, if you're watching along live and you like coming to the Suns Jam therapy session, thanks for doing so. Make sure you hit the thumbs up on YouTube. If you're watching later, go ahead and hit thumbs up. While you're watching it and you're eating some popcorn, it's getting all over your chest, and it's kind of with the tears and the popcorn, it just creates this kind of weird filmy grease. You can still kind of press that thumbs up button. If you're listening, as per usual, make sure you give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. And if you're on Spotify, just give us the 5 stars. They don't ask you for reviews. They don't want your words. But I'll tell you this, if you write words on Apple Podcasts, we'll read them right here. A reminder that we have a limited time promo with for anybody who's a new DraftKings user. Just deposit and place a $5 wager on any sport and get $150 instantly added to your account in bonus bets, win or lose. All you have to do is use our code SUNSJAM at sign up to redeem. Using our code SUNSJAM, again, is another one of those great ways to support the pod, support our depression, support the medication that we take for said depression, support the drinking habits that we have because we're depressed. So again, if you don't have a DraftKings account, do us a solid, sign up with the code SUNSJAM and place that first bet. Remember, that's new customers only, 21 and over and physically present in Arizona or wherever they have like betting states and such. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Valid 1 offer per customer, minimum $5 deposit and $5 wager required. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets and expire 7 days after being awarded. See full terms at DraftKings.com. I know you call 1-800-NEXT-STEP if you have a gambling problem. What do you call if you have a Suns problem, man? Like 1-800 fuck me with 2 E's, like fuck me.
You call your mom, not your mom, but just your mom or your
1-800 your mom.
Yeah.
Oh,
it lines up.
Well, pop them if you got them, Suns fan. I'm just gonna
pop them. I already had a couple.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear about
chugging.
That. It's time. Yeah, no chugging with the fellas tonight, huh? The Nuggets win Game 2 of the Western Conference semifinals, sending themselves to a 2-0 lead over the Phoenix Suns as the series gets ready to head back to Phoenix, which, as always, brings me to my first question for Matthew.
Matthew, I got to ask.
All right, Matthew, I got to ask. Now, I'll ask you 2 questions. The first one is, how ugly is that score look on that graphic?
Yeah, it looks so bad.
That looks so bad. 97 to 87.
I had to maximize that font, dude. 87, 97. What am I looking at?
Gross, man.
I didn't. When I did it, I almost threw up in my mouth.
What is this, like the 98 finals? What the fuck is that shit?
It just looks like shit, too, man.
Oh, man.
I did the triple digits to make sure it fits. I'm like, what? Double digits on both?
Yeah,
I don't know what to do.
You just don't see that, and then
7.
then you see and 7's not a pretty number. Anyone who says 7's a pretty number, don't trust that person.
No,
don't trust them at all. But my real question that I have to ask you is, after losing this game, just plain and simple, Matthew, are you concerned?
Okay, so going into the playoffs, I've been concerned this whole time. I've been concerned since the trade. I've been concerned since KD's injury. I'm still concerned. There's no way you can trust this team, whether you listen to the Ringers, Ryan Russillo podcast, where he had them going to the Western Finals. I was still concerned because we just don't know what to really worry about this team. The 2 things is Ayton's foul trouble and Chris Paul's injury prone. If he's going to be injured, then that's an issue. If DA can stay on the floor, that helps. If he gets in foul trouble, that's a big thing. Those are 2 things I was concerned about. They happened in this game. I'm concerned, but I still pick Suns in 7, so I had to stick with that, even though it hurts down.
Do you want to stick with that?
Yeah,
If you could change your answer right now,
I'm sticking with it
could
because
you
I
s- w-
believe KD has to come through as that guy. He has to, and I think it's still going to happen. It's going to take some more time, but it has to happen next game for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I was concerned coming into this game, obviously, and if I knew that if we left with a loss, no matter the manner in which we exited, that I'd be pretty darn concerned because I just don't see it from this team. I just don't see it. I don't see consistency. They were talking about it a little bit on the Bill Simmons podcast, him and Ryan Russillo. They're talking about that new guy energy. And unfortunately, that's what the Phoenix Suns have, is they have a lot of that new guy energy in which this is their 15th game that they've played with Kevin Durant. They're still trying to figure out what some of their offensive sets are. They lack that organic chemistry that the Suns have had for the last 2 seasons, where you just kind of know who's going to do what and when. And what hurt the Suns last year essentially was Chris Paul diminished. If Chris Paul had been who he was earlier in his career, or even like 2 months before the playoffs started, that was a dangerous team. But we literally watched Chris Paul in the 2022 NBA playoffs disintegrate before our eyes. So to counter that this season, they traded for Kevin Durant. They gave up quite the ransom to do so, and it's Kevin Durant. You can't not make that trade. I get it. Cameron Johnson's going to be a restricted free agent this year. In a couple, 2-3 seasons, Mikal could potentially come back. We're all counting down to the day that could happen. But you have to make that trade simply because Chris Paul is and has been diminished. And then, like clockwork, like Father Time coming knocking on the door.
The point guard.
Chris Paul in this game starts to feel it, right? He goes 3 of 3 from the field in the third quarter, 6 points in that quarter. He also had 3 assists. And the one time that the Suns were starting to build a lead, I think they went up 8, and Chris Paul was the spearhead of that attack, because it was either, hey, you're going to double off of him or double him, and he's going to carve you apart. What happens? Chris Paul pulls his groin. And we know that if Chris Paul pulls his groin, I mean, Booker was out for what? 21 games with a pulled groin? And he's got a young, healthy 26-year-old groin. Old man Chris Paul's groin. I'm no doctor, but I don't think we'll be seeing him the rest of the season.
No, probably not. In the third quarter, he was hitting big shots, and then you're like, well, Matthew, you yourself actually wanted him to be gone from the end of games. And you wanted just, to have Craig and Okogie in there. I think that's what I wanted, and I got it, and I'm not very happy with that decision now that it's actually happened, because now we have Cameron Payne in there trying to make shots, and he's missing everything. Defensively, he was good, but to replace Chris Paul is going to be really tough, especially when you have Kevin Durant and Devin Booker trying to move the ball, but not really. I mean, they're just playing ISO ball.
It's isolation ball once
it's just ISO ball, and they're not. They're trying to move the ball. They're looking. They might look at you, but they're not. They don't give a fuck. And like you said, the new guy energy, or the Russillo podcast, whatever they said that's true. I think when you have Chris Paul out, you're gonna have to worry about Kevin Durant trying to figure things out himself more now. Chris Paul, even with Kevin Durant on the floor, even with Booker, they're trying to tell Kevin Durant what to do on the court, where to be. They still need to boss him around in a way where it's like, I'm Kevin Durant, but still you got to boss him around. You got to tell him where to be on the court because he doesn't really know yet. Missing that hurts. And I'm mad at myself because I'm like, well, what are you going to get? If Chris Paul comes back and he's hurt, is he going to stand in the corner like he always does? Yeah, but you need that guy out there. You need the leader on this team, a team that has a new guy in there. Even though it's Kevin Durant, you can plug and play. A lot of people say that, but you just need some guy to be the floor general still.
Yes.
And Cameron Payne is far from that. So this is tough, man. At first I'm like, oh, well, it's only Chris Paul. But what am I fucking talking about, man?
But you look at that, though, right? I mean, Chris Paul goes out, and I don't have the exact time he went out of the third quarter, but roughly through the third quarter. Again, They're up 8. They lose by 10. It's an 18-point swing.
Yeah, that's when I realized I'm an idiot.
You know, and
I'll
I'm with
never be
you.
a coach.
The first time when you see him grabbing his groin, you're like, okay, well, there it is. But to your point, it's like, oh, okay, it's Chris Paul. But you're right. The way that he can break up the monotony of the isolation ball run by Devin Booker and Kevin Durant is vital to the offensive success of this team. And without him and with Cameron Payne, and we'll talk about Cam Payne because it was nice to see him. And I honestly think that the article I wrote for Bright Side of the Sun, accompanied by what a lot of people were saying on the national media level, we finally bullied Monty Williams into not playing Shamet. So we got plenty of Payne, which is fine, but he looked rusty, clearly. But back to Chris Paul, it's unfortunate. It's the Chris Paul story. You know, when they talk about him years and years from now, they'll talk about a great point guard who just got hurt in every fucking chance he could. Just the way it goes. Just the way it goes.
Man, when he went out, I wasn't as worried, but like you said, that 18-point swing, it was very quick. And you know, guys like me that think like you can just plug someone else in there that can shoot and maybe distribute. Like Okogie had 1 assist or something. Like, I think I know what I'm talking about. I'm like, oh, we'll be fine. Just put this other guy in there. He can make his shots. He's more athletic.
Yeah,
and then Chris Paul goes out. It's like the whole team doesn't know what to do.
It's the brain.
Yep, exactly.
Well, the Suns lost their brain when they lost
over
him.
Boobs are bronze.
Bronze? Yeah, he plays for the Nuggets.
Who the heck are you?
I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am. Y'all know who I am.
Did anybody see a sniper? Did anybody see anything?
I'm one of the best players.
No one saw a sniper. There was no sniper tonight. There was no one saw a sniper. 10 of 27 in 44 minutes played by Kevin Durant.
Christ, man.
24 points, 2 of 12 from beyond the arc. He had 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 2 block, 4 personal fouls, 2 turnovers. Kevin Durant in this game, I mean, old start, kept shooting, you know, like the big ding-a-ling Durant he is, but you see that final stat line, and he shot us out of the game at points. 2 of 12 from beyond the arc. 2 of 12. D-Wig 24 in the chat says, KD's not a choker. He's just old. You know, I don't know how much validity there is to that, but I felt like it wasn't like he was, you know, it's interesting because like the shots that he was making were the tough ones. It was the easy, wide open threes. He was just short every time. And he shot us out of this game.
Yeah.
And we would be doing ourselves a disservice and every member of this band if we didn't play the living hell out of this thing, if we didn't hold him accountable. And tonight, Kevin Durant has to be held accountable for that unbelievably horrid performance. And again, what's unfortunate, and I know that there's 3 consecutive days off, but he also played 44 minutes in it, 27 field goals to make 24 points. That's fucking putrid, man.
Yeah, well, first off, Nuggets fans out there, thank you for liking the pod. A lot of good comments out there. There was actually one where the guy said, or a lady out there says, the guy on the right is a KD hater. Last game I did say, you know, it was a good game, but it wasn't KD like fuck you mode. Obviously, we lost the game, but we need those spurts. We're watching the game at Cold Beers and Cheeseburgers. He makes 2 in a row. I'm like, let's get 5 in a row. Let's go Booker mode out there, man. He misses the third, but then Booker kind of puts it back in to help him out on the offensive rebound. But that's what we need. We need KD to come out there and be Booker mode on the other end. It's not happening. Then I'm like, is he going to have to just be LeBron out there? Like just LeBron. Like, I'm like, no, it's like the rest. Like it's LeBron rests himself for like 2 quarters, 3 quarters. He'll come through in a quarter. Is that what we need? Because what KD's doing right now is settling for a lot of stuff. When he's getting to his spots, it doesn't look good. There's no smoothness to his game at all.
Yeah.
The passes are terrible. He's very hesitant on them. He's throwing them in the middle, and they're getting picked. It's easy money for the defense, right?
Yeah.
To pick those ones off. Then that's what's happening. He's not comfortable in this offense, even though you look at the offense, there's no offense. It's just ISO. Of course, it's going to be easy for him to plug and play because if it's just ISO taking turns, then yeah, he should be Kevin Durant. And that's what we're expecting. And it hasn't come through. I've been waiting for it. And the more and more I watch, the more and more I just don't trust the dude to get the job done. I'm sorry. I don't. And we give shit to Ayton. We give shit to Booker if he has bad games. Booker's been phenomenal. He's held his own. Fourth quarter wasn't very good this game. But we just need that from Kevin Durant. And I'm thinking maybe he's on LeBron's side where he just needs more rest and he can't be relied on like that anymore. And that sucks. Because if you say we lose this series and we have Kevin Durant for 2 or 3 more years, then what are we looking towards? We're looking forward to like a few years where he's going to be injured in and out of the lineup, and then he's going to come back in the playoffs and maybe be someone you can rely on. We don't know yet. It's still early for sure in his career with the Phoenix Suns, but we expected a lot more from him, and he needs to come out next game and hit those shots, because those threes that he's throwing up there, I never think they're going in. Unless it's a corner 3, and he didn't miss one tonight for the first time, I think, in the Phoenix Suns uniform.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't trust that ball to go in ever.
I think that if you look at the totality of this season for Kevin Durant, it's been a tough one, right? You know, he gets injured with the knee issue, and he's out for a long time. He gets traded. He comes here, goes down with the ankle issue, you know, just typical, you know, injuries that negate rhythm. And then he's being put into an offense that, again, like, they don't have a ton of set plays for Kevin Durant. They've been primarily running him on the Mikal Bridges offensive sets when he does have an offensive set. And reminder, Suns fans, we didn't have a bunch of Mikal Bridges sets either. So they literally have him running those, and everything else, like you said, is isolation. And it's a lot of star watching, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of his teammates just watching the isolation. Like, we'll talk about DeAndre Ayton and his effort here in a little bit, but it's very rare that you see Kevin Durant try to come off of a DA screen. It's very rare that Kevin Durant's trying to come off of any screen. They just kind of throw it over him on the left or the right shoulder, and like, all right, Kevin, just go create, make us points, huh? And given that philosophy, I mean, part of it is, again, I feel like he hasn't had a chance to get in a lot of rhythm this season. Part of it is, again, new guy energy. And he is a new guy on a team that has been together for quite some time and now is trying to figure out who they are, because they've gotten rid of 3 of the primary wings who were part of massive playoff runs through the last 2 seasons. And part of it is they're not utilizing him correctly and putting him in a situation to be successful. So he feels like he has to go into Kevin Durant mode. Hey, he's like, hey, I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am. Yeah, we know who you are 7 years ago. And again, I think that, you know, he needs to we'll see. Again, it's game 2. It was a sluggy game. You got to remember that Denver's 19-22 on the road. This isn't an elite road team. There's a lot of things that can sway after 2 games back in Phoenix. And if what we saw tonight from Kevin Durant and from the Phoenix Suns was them figuring out some things defensively to negate some of the offensive effectiveness of the Nuggets, that's great. If Kevin Durant hits 2 more of those threes, boom, that's 6 more points. If he hits 2 more of those jumpers, boom, it's a tie game. So I just think that it was a really, really bad game for Kevin Durant. And I think that, again, the Phoenix Suns and Kevin Durant himself need to hold themselves accountable and go, what can we do to put him in a situation to be better? Because he's just not being put in a situation to be better. And part of that's on him, and part of that's on coach, and part of that's just on the philosophies of the coaching staff of the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, and I see a lot of stuff of fire Monty, and, you know, Monty needs to put him in better spots.
Oh, we'll get to Monty.
To me, like, the way KD plays, I just think those shots he's taking, he usually hits those. Like, he has the mismatches on smaller dudes. He's just not making it work. They're just not going in. But maybe there's more to it, obviously, to get him wide open. But that's just not going to happen on this team, I don't think, because they're going to make KD and Book do it all, right? I mean, they're going to let Chris Paul, who's injured now, and DA just go to work. Let's see what you got. Can you make the right decision, DA, down low? He did tonight, you know, and that's why we're in this game. But also, it's just like they're going to let those guys just try to make their shots, Booker and KD, and they try to make difficult shots. And they don't look good, but most of the time they go in. But just tonight, it's just like, I just don't know if you trust. I know there's the offseason, and there's comments from the Jamsters about the offseason, and you just need that to gel. You do. For sure.
Yes.
But you have to
100%.
remember, we came into this, we were one of the favorites to win a title, right? If you're thinking about the offseason, that's fine. This isn't for you, the playoffs. The playoffs right now is Kevin Durant, Devin Booker wanting to win a fucking championship, dude. They don't care about the offseason.
They're not sitting there thinking about what moves we're going to make in the offseason.
We need to work this out later on. No, it's now. You guys need to figure this shit out now get your shots up and make sure they go in. That's really as easy as
Trust
it is.
me.
But
There's going to be plenty of talk about the off season because the Suns are cruising that way here pretty quick, and we might have to be talking about it before we even get to the Western Conference Finals. DeAndre Ayton, 7 of 10 from the field in this game. He had 8 rebounds. He had 4 assists. He had 14 points. He had 5 fouls. He also had a block in this game. Matthew, as you were sitting at Cold Beers and Cheeseburgers, kicking it with Coach Fallen Founder, who's in town.
Is it
from
Coach?
Iowa. Or maybe it's just Fallen Founder.
I always say Coach too.
I feel like
I always
everybody's
say
coach. Everyone we know is Coach. It's like, what's up, Coach? Hey, Coach, so says
it's
Jay.
just Fallen Founder, but I always say
I feel like
Coach
it
Fallen
used to
Founder.
be Coach Fallen Founder.
Maybe it was, yeah. He's not even a coach.
He's in town from Iowa. As you're watching DeAndre Ayton in this game, what was the conversations that you two were having?
Well, I mean, the first thing we showed.
See, look, it says Coach Fallen Founder. Look right there,
Coach.
It does say it. We're not wrong. It says
Are
he's
you a
Fallen
coach,
Founder
though?
on Twitter. But
Are
what do
you
you
a
coach, Fallen Founder? Anyways, what were you guys talking about relative to DeAndre Ayton?
Well, he showed up late and he missed all the good DA stuff. I thought DA did really good in the first half, man. He was catching passes actually behind him and finishing. He just was doing everything that he can to help his team. The thing is with DA in the series, it's like if he's not in the gray area where it's like, what the fuck are you doing, DA? Then he's having a good game. If he doesn't fall into that, then he's fine. And that's what he was. I'm not even gonna look at the stats. It's the same as last game, but the effort was actually there in this game. He was a little tired there in the second half, and he got in foul trouble. That's a big thing. Like I said in the beginning of the podcast, where you're going to worry about 2 things: injuries with Chris Paul and Kevin Durant, and then also it's just a foul trouble with DeAndre Ayton. Kind of same thing with JJJ over in Memphis, where it's like the guy can't stay out of foul trouble. Ayton, when he has good games, he does get into foul trouble. And some of the fouls were kind of dumb, but some of them were just, I don't know. It was tough. He made it hard for, I feel like Jokic had a really good stat line, and he's not a Jokic stopper, but most of the game he wasn't able to play on him because of foul trouble. And I just think that that's like the next step for DA. Obviously, if we want to talk off season, is work on staying out of foul trouble, because in a game like this where he came out and he looked good, I'm going to say he looked really good this game. We need you to stay in, and that's how we win a game, because you have to give us the 45 minutes. So you're going to get 3 minutes of rest tonight and just stay out of foul trouble. Let those ones go. Don't put your arms down. Don't put yourself into a body. You know what to do out there. Don't give me those things where it's like, what did I do? I didn't do anything. No, you know what you're doing out there. You're getting fouled so you can get some rest. You tired little boy out there. He's tired. And he's just like, I can't do this. I just want to go on the bench because I want to get in foul trouble. That's the way he was tonight.
Live update. Coach Fallen Founder says he's a coach. He coaches people to follow their dreams. Wah, wah, wah.
I don't know. I'll never meet you
Lame.
again. I don't
So I'll start off with the foul trouble. I completely believe that DA's foul trouble is not a product of him saying I want as a conduit of having him sitting down. This is
I was joking.
Okay. I'm like, dude,
I was not serious about that.
Okay. That saves the whole rant I had just specifically for you. I was gonna turn off all the jamsters. I was gonna turn off the show.
I was totally kidding, because he had a really good game, and I thought it was a good
backstage.
game, but I was just making shit up.
I thought DeAndre Ayton was fantastic in this game, and it's funny that you said his stat line, because it's literally almost the same exact stat line he had in the last game, right?
It is.
I think he had 14 and 7 in game 1.
Yeah,
and
14 and 8 tonight.
Yeah, and this was 14 and 8. Completely different DeAndre Ayton in this one. Completely different. I absolutely thought he played great on both ends of the floor. He was hustling the entire time. He was engaged, and he was making his impact on the defensive side. So the Suns, their decision this game was to have DeAndre Ayton play Nikola Jokic straight up isolation style. They weren't sending helpers. In game 1, they were sending helpers, and Jokic and the rest of the Nuggets just started hitting threes because they were wide open. And we were talking about it a lot on the last podcast of how the Phoenix Suns defensively were a team in the middle last game. They couldn't decide if they wanted to guard the perimeter. They couldn't decide if they wanted to crash the glass. They couldn't decide if they wanted to double team and who to double team and when to double team. And the Nuggets completely took advantage of that. Tonight, the Phoenix Suns said, you know what? We're going to play more physical. And this was a much more physical game. And we're going to isolate DeAndre Ayton on Nikola Jokic. And I think it was the absolute right move. And we talked about this in our series preview. You're not going to stop Jokic. You're not. All you can do is try to slow him down, if you will, and negate the effectiveness of those around him. And that's what they did tonight. You take a look, and this is why this game just hurts. Jamal Murray, 3 of 15 from the field, 0 of 9 from beyond the arc, 10 points. Michael Porter Jr., 2 of 7 from the field, 0 of 2 from beyond the arc, 5 points. It was Kadavius Caldwell-Pope who went 4 of 4 from beyond the arc that truly killed the Suns. He was 5 of 6 from the field. Aaron Gordon had 16 points. He was 1 of 3 from beyond the arc and 5 of 8. But overall, of their 97 points, 39 of them came from Nikola Jokic. That's 40% of all their scoring came from Jokic. Everybody else, Suns could stay home on because DeAndre Ayton, for the most part, held his own. Now, yeah, Jokic was down there and he was bullying around. And I'll tell you, man, Jokic gets away with so much shit. So much shit. He throws his elbows on every play. I mean, you saw the play where he hooked Bismack Biyombo.
Yeah, I remember that one.
In the face, and it was a call on Bismack. Watch his screens. Bismack gets called for a screen when he's standing there, and he leans a little bit. Jokic leans every time. And not only does he leans, and then he sticks his ass out. So when somebody's coming and hitting him on the side, he leans into that person coming on the side, and as they're wrapping around him, he sticks his ass out and hits him again. They never call it. They never call it. So again, that's my little Jokic rant. What I saw from DeAndre Ayton, though, was he truly was, in my opinion, a game changer in this one. His ISO defense allowed the Suns to negate all the other Nuggets throughout the majority of the game. And you add the fact that he is constantly screening on offense. And it's a hustle that impacted the game. He's the one who was freeing up Chris Paul in that third quarter that allowed the Phoenix Suns to put on a little run and score points and get up by 8 points. It was a direct result of DeAndre Ayton. So, yeah, we're critical of DA whenever he doesn't have the energy, is sitting there watching rebounds, isn't engaged. The exact opposite tonight. I thought what we saw from DA was fantastic. It was frustrating watching him try to go up and score when Jokic is literally just straight up Paul Bunyan hacking him. It's like he's got a big axe. He was just hacking him. They weren't calling it. It was the weirdest. It was one of the most interestingly reffed games I've seen all season because they were letting everything fly, but somehow, some way, Kevin Durant and DeAndre Ayton both were in foul trouble. It was just weird to see.
Yeah, that was very strange. They let them play, but then it got to a point where, what was it, like 6 free throw attempts at halftime for the Nuggets, and then the Suns had 0. But then the Nuggets just started getting to the line more. But then I think it was like only if the Suns had Jock in the game, they could get fouls because Jock was the only one drawing fouls, I feel like.
We had 5 free throws in one of the most physical games I've seen.
Yes, it was physical.
The Suns had 5 free throws.
Yeah.
That's just, it is what it is. I'm not blaming the refs, but it's like,
yeah, that's the
come
thing. Is like
on.
I don't know if I was either because a lot of the times the Suns were playing,
they just weren't calling anything.
Their offense,
so
they're
like,
just
okay.
chucking up. If the Suns were trying to chuck up threes all the time and settle for like just the ISO ball and making us piss as Suns fans, then I'd be like, what the fuck, refs? But they had to keep forcing the issue, and they didn't. And DA too, the closeouts and stuff were really nice. Like he was always on his dude that he was supposed to be on. You know, the closeouts on the 3 in the corners and stuff. He was there.
It's because they played isolation defense.
Yeah, but it looked more like DA from two seasons ago. That's what it looked like defensively for me. It did. Just the foul trouble hurt, but other than that, man, he was fantastic tonight, man.
Yeah, it was a really solid DeAndre Ayton game, and give him his flowers where flowers are due.
You know what time it is.
Trivia time.
Phoenix Suns in this game shot 6 of 31 from beyond the arc. It's something that we've talked about throughout kind of the postseason. This team was they entered this game averaging just over 23 3-point attempts per game. John Hollinger from The Athletic wrote a great piece about how the Phoenix Suns are literally just having a hard time overcoming the math in these playoffs because they don't shoot the 3 ball with enough frequency. And then they go out there and they shoot the 3. It just becomes 3. You know, it's like, okay, we'll shoot it, but like no one can fucking make it. So the trivia question that I have for you, Matthew, this season, how many times have the Phoenix Suns shot 19.4% or worse in a game?
You said this season?
This season.
4.
That is incorrect. Wow, your streak is over. Your
Oh,
streak
damn
is
it.
over. Your streak is over twice.
Twice. Okay.
Twice. Against Atlanta on February 1st, they went 4 of 28 in a loss and shot 14.3%. And against the Golden State Warriors on March 13th, they shot 4 of 21, 19%.
4's not bad, though.
And they lost.
That was a good guess. Out of all those games, out of 82 games?
Out of 82 plus the playoffs, that's correct. Again, the challenge with this is that a team like the Nuggets, who shot 7 of 27 from beyond the arc for 25.9%, isn't going to do that a bunch. They're a team that hits the 4th most threes by percentage in the NBA. And that's why, again, a winnable game like this is frustrating because it was right there. You caught them on a night where they weren't hitting any of their shots. Jamal Murray's having an off game. Now, part of this is due to defense. Again, as we mentioned, due to DeAndre Ayton's ability to play isolation defense against Nikola Jokic, everyone could stay on their guys. And guess what? They were guarding the perimeter and making the Nuggets take tough threes, unless it was Kadavius Caldwell-Pope, obviously. They were negating offensive rebounds. Again, they got destroyed on the boards in the last game. They only gave up 5 offensive rebounds in this one. So the defensive schemes that the Suns downloaded appear to be effective, but weren't effective enough. Again, because we suck.
Yeah, we're relying on those 2 stars, and we knew coming into the series we would need to for sure. And I think we have to we have to give Book his flowers for sure this game. He was great, but it comes to a point where it's like, who else do you trust? And the team just doesn't really trust a lot. I know, like, chucking up the threes was awesome because we asked for no Shamet. We were like, all right, let's start chucking up those threes. And they looked bad. They were like off the trash can.
Oh, so bad.
The second row up, the second section up, they were just hitting everything in the arena but the bottom of the net. It was the worst thing I've ever seen. Even Kevin Durant's threes, the one he finally got to go in, a bank shot. That was how bad these shots were. It was the first time these guys ever chucked a three. So we got it. We got the threes, though. We got the attempts. They just didn't fall.
Yeah, I mean, that's just that's the way the cookie crumbles. Sideways in the chat, what's the lowest amount of free throws? Trivia time for me. They attempted 4 free throws against the Miami Heat on November 11th and 5 free throws against the Lakers on the 22nd of November. And they had 5 tonight. And one thing I'm going to be looking up after this podcast is what's the fewest amount of free throws shot in a playoff game, because that's ridiculous, man. The playoffs are physical, and the Phoenix Suns just didn't get to the line. And again, I'm not going to blame the officiating. I'm really not. I feel like Devin Booker could have had probably about 10 free throw attempts in this game. I mean, he was getting hacked a ton, but they just weren't calling it.
Yeah, but Jokic wasn't. Well, how many did Jokic have, though? Because I feel like
2
Jokic
fouls?
was 2. He got to the line, but Jokic was getting hit a lot too. I feel like in this game, and he wasn't getting calls, so I kind of evened out on the other side. So
Jokic was 3
he only had
4.
the 6 attempts or 4 attempts. Yeah,
they had 21 attempts from the line. So again, a shout out to all the Jamsters who are watching along live. Thank you for commenting in the chat. It's always entertaining to see what you have to say. It looks like Steph Curry showed up tonight. Steph Curry's in the chat, and he just says, y'all suck. Thanks,
He
Steph.
would never say that. He's too nice. He has such a good life.
Apparently he's here, and he's telling us that we suck.
More
Libertarian
about his
Sasquatch
sex
gave us
life.
$4.99 in the super chat. We truly appreciate that, and I agree with what he says. Suns did everything they could to give this game away. This is one of those games that was so winnable, and they just, I don't know, they
did. But honestly, it was Booker and Durant versus Jokic, and Durant and Booker just couldn't hit their shots late. That's what it was. It was back and forth, and then the Suns, those 2 stars could not hit their shots. So
that fourth quarter for the Phoenix Suns, they ended up going 7 of 25 from the field, which is 28%. They were 0 of 9 from beyond the arc. Obviously, they were a negative 13. They entered up 3. They lost. They scored 14 points in that. So, all right. The next topic of conversation that I want to get into is one that's been kind of hot around these here parts in Phoenix. I'm not talking about the weather.
Ever since I've been here, we talked about everything you want is on the other side of hard. This is hard.
Monty Williams, coach of the Phoenix Suns.
So obviously, Monty Williams, whenever you get to the postseason, whoever the head coach is, you're going to analyze and overanalyze and be critical. And that we have been here on the Suns Jam Session podcast, especially when it comes to one Landry Shamet. I believe that we bullied him into a DNP tonight. He did not play,
Yeah.
but I also was taking note of some of the rotations. Payne was the first off the bench before Shamet, and we could talk a little bit about Cameron Payne here momentarily. Man, let's go ahead. Let's do the camera. Should we give him the drop for tonight? Should we? Make a decision. You're the executive producer.
Yes.
Here comes the pain.
Here comes the pain. It was painful today. He was 1 of 7 from the field, 2 points, 1 assist, 1 rebound, 4 personal fouls for Cameron Payne in 17 minutes played. And that was the first move by Monty Williams, right? He normally brings Shaman out. Boom. He brings in Cameron Payne. So we're obviously happy that we don't have to see Landry Shamet. And when you see Cameron Payne, you see him bring a burst of speed. He definitely looks rusty, but the first thing that goes through your head is, well, you know, at least he's not Landry Shamet. But as time goes on, you go, you know what? The difference between Cameron Payne and Landry Shamet is at least Landry Shamet know he can't hit shit. Cameron Payne doesn't know he can't hit shit, so he keeps shooting.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Are we going to say, like, bring Shaman back?
No, we're not saying that.
Yeah, no. Cameron Payne came in. He had, like, the defense. He drew the defensive foul, which is nice. Forced a turnover, like, right away. Like, I was like, oh, great defensive presence by him. But then he comes in, and when he's shooting shots, when you have KD out there and Booker out there, and he's wide open. They're leaving him wide open, obviously. He's taking the shots. And when he's missing it and you got those 2 guys on the court, the first thing I think about is like, why are you shooting when you got those 2 guys on the court? You're the point guard. Move the ball around. Do something. Do your Steve Nash impression. Get under the rim and start, you know, trying to move the ball around for this offense. Trying to make some stuff happen. But I think he is rusty. Coming into this, you know, I mean, I didn't think we were going to be down 0-2. Wait, yeah, I did.
Oh, yeah,
coming into this whole series, I was like, you know what? It is kind of scary the way this offense is. We're kind of heavily relying on these starters, and then you're like, oh wait, well, Cameron Payne will come back and help this defense. I mean, help this bench. That's not really a comfortable thing to say. I'm not really comfortable with myself saying like I'm going to rely on Cameron Payne to get things done. I'm not going to lie though. Tonight, I like the shot attempts, and I just did say like, hey, why are you shooting it? But you're missing it with this guys. I like it because I feel like he can hit those and get hot. If Monty's not going to play Terrence Ross or any of these other guys, which is just Terrence Ross, because I know TJ Warren's never going to play because he's not comfortable in the situation right now. If he's not going to play Ross, I would rather trust Cameron Payne taking those shots. I really would, because he at least has confidence in himself, even though sometimes he does argue with himself on the court. It looks like a maniac. He has confidence that he's going to get the job done. So I'd rather have a guy like that on the court than Shamet, who just is like scared and just, you know, the ball is full of coal. I don't even know. Like, it's a hot ball out there. He doesn't want to even touch it. It just moves it around so quick to where he's not even present offensively. I think that really what Cameron Payne brings is the confidence that we do need to the second unit. I feel comfortable with him. It's just the shot attempts, they just did not go in tonight. And I think that we're going to have to rely on that. Moving the ball against this defense is an issue for anybody right now for the Suns team.
Oh, 100%.
So I don't want to say like, hey, move the ball around, even though I did say that earlier. Yeah, try to, but it's going to be difficult. But I just think he's going to be wide open. I trust him a lot more than Shamet right now.
I do too. I honestly do, because I feel like he's trying to make plays, whereas Landry Shamet just doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Now, with that being said, the foul trouble that Cameron Payne gets himself in, obviously he becomes a target on defense, much akin to Shamet. And he had 3 fouls like instantly. And that's what limited his time. And ultimately, we got more Damian Lee. Damian Lee in this game was 0 of 5 from the field, 0 of 3 from beyond the arc. He had 6 rebounds, 2 assists, but 0 points for Damian Lee. Okay. Ish Wainwright got a nod. We haven't played the Ish Wainwright drop in a long time. Maybe we should here. Ish going down. I'm yelling, Wainwright. You better move. You better dunk. I haven't played that in so long, I forgot what it was.
Oh, my God, dude. I love that one.
Oh, my God. But I mean, he only played 2 minutes, but he was a -6 in those 2 minutes. I mean, that lineup that they ran out there, the second quarter mirrored the fourth quarter, in which we really didn't have any production because we're running our bench guys out there. So as we go back to Monty Williams in this situation, you know, part of me was thinking, man, Monty's lost. Like, subbing Shamet is the only move he knows. So when peer pressure, like the Suns Jam Session podcast and brightsideofthesun.com, call him out for putting a guy out there who's an absolute fucking zero, when that forces him not to sub-Shamit, he just starts throwing shit against the wall to see if it sticks. He's like a one-trick pony, I'm thinking. But then I think the proof is in the pudding. The bench combined 2 of 16 in this game. They had 4 points, Matthew, in this game. Total minutes played by the bench, 26 plus 10, that's 36, right? Plus 11, that's 47, 49, plus 17, that's 50, 66, plus 5. 71 minutes were played by the bench. 71 minutes were played in this game by the bench. They were 2 of 16. You can't get mad at Monty for that. These guys just fucking suck.
It's a players' league, man. It's up to the players to make the shots. I'm laughing because the
Book of John
says,
this season's over.
The reason I'm laughing so hard is you're reading those stats off, and they're just tumultuous. Is that even a word? Tumultuous?
It's unbelievable. It's fucking ridiculous.
It's so bad, and it's like even if you play Shaman, you play any of these guys, it doesn't matter right now. That's why we go back to it, dude. It's just heavily relied on those 2 stars, and if it doesn't get done, it doesn't get done. I don't know what you do. I think they were so close with that Damian Lee thing. Lee would miss the shots that the Nuggets didn't make eventually. That killed us because Lee was open for a few and he would miss them. Obviously 0 for 5. But then when you're talking about like Torrey Craig, I want him in there for Lee. I want Craig and Okogie to be in there for those offensive rebounds. It's the only way to win a game like this, I felt like, was just to be there in the middle to get the second chance opportunities and maybe tip it in or something, because no one can make anything. So get those guys in there that can actually grab the rebounds.
That's what I'm saying. It's like all of these guys combined over 70 minutes played. They go 2 of 16. And what do we not get? Ross.
The Outlet Boys.
Like, give me some outlet boys in this bitch. Give me some guys who can actually fucking score.
Yes.
Like Ish Wainwright, I'm sorry. Ish Wainwright, a 2-way contract, 2 consecutive years, get picked up at the back end of the season. And I know it's only 2 minutes, but like I literally had notes on him. I'm like, we need bench minutes, so I can't hate it. But he was -6 in 3 minutes. You don't get offense from him. You don't get defense from him. At least give me a guy who's got one attribute.
He gets beat right away. Ish is out there. He get beat the first time, and then the second time he had to foul the guy. So that's him defensively. So that's why it's like you got guys that can get hot and change a game. Ross, number 1. Skip Bayless tweeted about playing Ross. Right? Everyone hates Skip Bayless, but it's definitely right. You have a guy that can score 30, like he said, in a game, and he's not out there. Warren looks uncomfortable, right? He does.
Yeah,
but
he does.
Then stand him in the corner. He can hit the 3. He can get hot. Those guys can get hot. Lee can. But when's the last time this season he's gotten hot to where he hit like 3 shots in a row? I don't remember. I remember 1 shot, maybe once in a while. It's not. I mean, that's just all he's told to do is go stand in the corner. These other guys can shoot from all over the place. Have the offense rotate around them and make sure that those guys are open at the end of the possession to where they can just drill something, get this offense going. I just want to hear Monty. I hope at the presser at the end of this game, they ask him after I stutter on that. They ask him, and I'm probably stutter if I ask him a question if I'm down there. Be like, oh, Monty, how come you did not just play Ross? What is the meaning behind it?
John Nelson.
I'm not saying he's going to win us a game.
Does Monty realize Warren is known as buckets? It's the one thing we're missing from the
That's
second
what I'm
team
saying.
is
Like,
fucking buckets.
What is the reason? It's not defensively, yes, but the Nuggets miss a lot of shots tonight. We made it difficult, but you can still run the offense out there. I think
TJ Warren asked Monty Williams' daughter out on a date or something, and he's just like, "Whoa, now you've crossed the line. Sit on the." I don't know what it is.
It's crazy to me, and watching the game with someone that's never watched basketball, she said like, "Oh, Ayton," she doesn't even know his name. The Lost Boy. She even said the same thing about Monty. Like, it's in the eyes, man. It's when you're watching him and watch the game, it just doesn't look good. But I don't know, man. It's hard to even talk about.
Oh, well, let's talk about some subreddit stakeout.
Yeah.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout. So Matthew said he was at Cold Beers and Cheeseburgers, but really he was hanging out in the Denver Nuggets subreddit.
Yes, it's actually their colors too.
Yeah,
It
look what
is.
you're rocking their colors. Good for you.
Perfect. And now I fit right in. I look just like Jokic.
Yeah, you look just like the clowns that they are.
Let's
Nugs
see.
in 4. Nugs in, did you hear them saying that?
No, I didn't hear it.
They were doing Nugs in 4. I was like, ooh, careful, guys. That doesn't end well for any franchise that starts doing that. Just ask us.
Hey, at least we got to the finals that year. You know what I mean? So they'd be happy with that for sure. I took screenshots of these things.
Okay, that's
so
what I
let's
always
see how
do.
well. Okay, so there's a lot of ref talk. It's insane how much ref talk was on there and how much hate they had towards the refs.
Well, it was a physical game, and
What?
not a lot of people are used to watching
They're not
physical
looking at the box
basketball.
score though.
Well, that's the other side of it. Again, the Nuggets shot 16 more free throws than the Suns. The Suns were called for 9 more fouls than the Nuggets. But yeah, let's hear them bitch about the refs.
Yeah, refs doing everything to get the Suns this win. What?
Okay.
Are they talking about? Like, they're just comments like that. I'm like, what does that even mean? When did that happen once in this game? I didn't see it. I don't think we deserve this offensive. The offensive rebounds they were talking about, I don't think the Suns deserved them. Most of theirs felt pretty lucky. I don't know. I think we had guys there in the middle. I wanted to see more of that tipping the ball back out. That was huge. It's not like we're going to make them, but at least we got the opportunity, right?
We're taking the threes. We're just not making them. So we got that going for us, which is nice.
Yeah, someone said, Christian Braun, extend that man some years and money. They love that guy. He always seemed to always have like that extra little play that really got the crowd going. It's like
fucking
shit.
Rookie from Kansas.
Yeah,
Kansas
it's like,
ass.
yeah, damn it. 1 for 2 tonight. I want to fucking give him some money.
Woo! Stand him. Please do.
When Durant slips and his body hit the floor so hard, I laughed my ass off. Durant just slipped and gave him free throws. So the thing is, with that play, we were all nervous, right?
Yeah.
And as soon as he hit that floor,
Every time.
that was a hard hit, man. Someone said body that snake bitch up. I don't even know what that means. But also, they were talking a lot about the Sixers game. I was like, am I on the right subreddit? What are they talking about?
That was a great game, man. Harden had 45? That was fantastic.
Yeah, and I missed it, of course. I don't know. Braun and Brown, attorneys at ball. Did that sound okay? Braun and Brown, attorneys at law. Yeah,
I get it, but they just went with at law. Like,
all right. And then they hated the announcers too. And like, I guess the Suns, they were giving the Suns a lot of credit. They just said, I hate these announcers so much, bro. These announcers are so bad, bro.
Damn, bro.
Yeah,
Colorado
bro.
talking,
And
bro.
then Malone, they said Malone wants to save his challenge for the next game. What sucks is the Suns didn't have a challenge and they challenged one for KD, which was, it looked like that KD just got all ball on the replay. I'm like, fuck, we're fucked.
Yeah, whoever told him to replay that shit, like send him to our G League team.
Yeah.
Which doesn't exist, a.k.a. you fired.
You fired.
You fired.
This reminds me of the Pistons won in 2004, only giving up 80 points a game. Yeah. They got the Nuggets that are the Pistons now. So
God.
That's all from subreddit Stakeout.
Oy vey. The Suns Jam Session, subreddit Stakeout. Got a few more things that I had in my notes. Let's see here.
Hey, Joe. Where you going with that?
Josh Okogie in this game got the start again. And I think that he really did a good job on Murray. I mean, Murray
he did
obviously had an off night, but I think part of that was Josh Okogie. He played 22 minutes. He only had 2 points, but he was, we brought him in for the exact reason I thought we should. And he needs to be that defensive stalwart who is bodying up Jamal Murray, trying to make things tough for him. Surprisingly, only had 3 fouls. I feel like he could have gotten called for numerous fouls. Literally right off the bat in this game, like off the tip, Jamal Murray started dry humping Chris Paul.
Yeah, there was no foul. Like
right
I was
off
at
the bat
Juniors by myself, and I'm just like, "What the? That's a foul!"
Like right off the bat.
What's going on?
Jamal Murray and then he fouled Chris Paul on the second inbound play, and they didn't call him. Like, oh, it's gonna be one of these games. But great defense from Okogie. One interesting thing though, and I'll say this: he was fighting through the defensive screens, things of that nature. Like I really like what I saw. He had a wide open shot in the fourth quarter in the key when the Suns were down 3. And he didn't take it. And he passed it out to KD, and KD bricked a 3.
That's what I'm saying.
We learned something about Josh Okogie right there. We learned something. That's okay. You don't expect him to be a big shot taker, but when you're that wide open and you're 8 feet from the basket, you got to take that one, Josh.
Yeah,
You just
but last
gotta.
game he missed them, and I don't know if they told him like, "Hey, pass it out." When KD and Chris Paul and Booker are having their own practice by themselves and they're talking, they're like, "Yeah, those needs to come back out to us." Maybe that's what was said because that's not a Okogie like.
You saw it
That's-
though. You
that's
saw
not
him
Okogie
like
like,
go,
though.
"Oh shit."
Because he was
had the
told not
DA
to shoot that.
No, I know, no.
That
It's
wasn't
instincts at that.
Okogie's
No, it's
the most
instincts at
confident
that
player on
point.
this team.
No,
He's the
that's
most
it.
confident. He's going to do what he wants.
That's instincts at that point. That's 100%.
Those guys said
instincts at that
pass it
point.
back out.
He had the DA look on his face, like, "Oh shit, I got the ball in a meaningful moment. What do I do with it?" And he passed it out. That's my take on it.
I'll never
That's
believe
my-
it. Never
that's
believe
my
it.
take. I will take that to my grave.
Love you, Okogie.
To my G rave.
What's up?
The juice in this one, 11 minutes played, 0 points, just had 1 offensive rebound.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. But that 1 offensive rebound, I mean, like I go back and I look at these stats, I'm like, shit, that's all he had was 1 offensive rebound. And I wrote
know.
about it in my notes. I go, we got one of those Torrey Craig aggro boards where he goes and just tears it down. Like that's the Torrey Craig I want to see. And we only saw it for 1 play.
That's why you just need Okogie and Craig out there with the big 3 with Ayton. Well, Ayton, the big 2.5 Ayton, and tonight big 3. He kind of earned it. You just need those guys because in a game like this, you just got to get as many opportunities as you can around the rim. And even around the rim, like they had a hard time getting it in. It was very difficult. But those guys are in a game like this help you out. And the stats don't matter because they stuck out more to me defensively. And like you said, that 1 rebound, it's just the things they do are huge and they stick out.
They're big. So we'll see when we talk about adjustments. But first,
Jam Star of the Game.
all right, Jamsters, this is your chance. If you're watching along live in the chat, to let us know who your Jam Star of the Game is. Matthew, I'll let you go. Did you go first last time?
I don't
game
remember.
1?
I never remember.
All right, well, then you go first. Who you giving Jam Star of the Game?
This is
to?
actually tough. I'm going to give
It
it to
is.
Ayton.
Is it tough because you have to give it to Ayton, or is it tough because there was
No, I'm
good
going to give it to
performances?
Ayton. Booker, I mean, stats look great.
We didn't even talk about Booker really in this game.
I know it sucks, but Booker, great game. It's just the way he finished, but I don't know. I guess I'll give it to Ayton just because it was a good game. We needed this. That's what it was more important is Ayton needs to be more involved. Now, is he going to follow it up? Who knows? But tonight he showed up for sure, except for fouls.
So the Jamsters are kind of split between Booker and Ayton. You said Ayton, so I'll mention Booker on this one. Devin Booker in this game, 35 points, 14 of 29, so a lot of shots to get there. Only 4 of 8 from beyond the arc. Missed all of his threes in the fourth quarter when we needed them. 6 assists, 5 rebounds, another quality performance for Devin Booker. It just sucks because, again, in a loss, it's going to make that average look real nice. But, yeah, it's just Christian gives to anyone who's stuck around. John Nelson says Booker, no passing. He did have 6 assists to.
That's what I said. Yeah, but last game, too, he
team.
did the same thing. He was just narrow-minded.
Team. So D Wig says RIP Chris Paul's groin, which brings me to my next subject. Obviously, Game 3 is going to be Friday night back home at Phoenix. We don't know what's going to happen with Chris Paul. Again, I'm not a doctor, but I will say that I highly doubt that we will have Chris Paul available for this game. I just, groin tightness, old man like that, it ain't happening. So when we talk about adjustments, what the fuck are the Suns going to do in Game 3?
Well, what I want him to do is if Chris Paul's out, I want Craig and Okogie to start. I want those 2 in there. I want Cameron Payne come off the bench.
So you say go point Book.
Yeah, point Book, point KD. That's the only way we're going to win. I mentioned it 100 times this podcast, but if he wants scoring, I trust Cameron Payne. If he's going to make it or not, I don't know. I trust him to try to get wide open shots. He might get hot. That's the one guy off the bench that I need to score. Those other 2 dudes, Okogie and Craig, I just want to see that offense together. I've been killing for it. Even Bismack replacing Ayton at certain points before Ayton had this game. I wanted that, but you're going to have those 2 in there crashing boards. It'd be nice to see. And adjustments, make your shots. KD, just be KD. I think going into the series, like I said, he has to be that guy. He hasn't been it yet. First game was okay. This game was terrible. He has to come out and just win this game, win the next 2 in Phoenix.
What do you do if he starts Landry Shamet?
I cut off my dick.
Okay, I was just going to not watch the game, but Jesus Christ, that's a permanent solution to a temporary problem, Matthew. Come on now. You're better than that. Jeez.
My bad.
I gotta say, I'm not opposed to that strategy. You're going to have to run point book here. Cameron Payne is probably what's going to happen. You know, Monty's like the most basic fucking coach.
It's going to happen. Point guard.
It's going to be campaign, and then we're going to have to piece it up from behind there. Whereas I think if we do some point book and campaign comes off the bench and we see some Terrence Ross in this game, there's a chance that the Phoenix Suns, because that's a defensive lineup that you just mentioned. It's a defensive lineup. It's a physical lineup. I think that it could really work. When we talked about it in the series preview, the biggest challenge that the Suns had defensively was Chris Paul. Who do you put Chris Paul on? Jamal Murray? Well, that didn't work in game one. This one, they brought him in there. They had him. I mean, he was taking like Aaron or Kadavis Caldwell-Pope, who just likes to stand in the corner. Like that was kind of the strategy. Now you can have D-Book and you have Josh Okogie on him, whereas D-Book is having to take Aaron Gordon at times and MPJ at times. But now you got Craig in there, so I like it. It gives us some size, some defense. It all comes down to, can the bench fucking play? Can we get a bench?
Just make your shots. Jesus. You know, they look so scared out there too, man. They look like they're just like, should we be out here? I don't know. Why don't you just put us out here? I don't know. Should we be out here?
Well, we're rapidly approaching the off season here, Matthew. Again, down.
It's not over. Don't worry.
D-Wig 24. Voided still thinks Shamet is a temporary problem. Since when? I fucking hate Landry Shamet. I've hated Landry Shamet for years now. Do you want to hear a fun stat about Landry Shamet? Every team that Landry Shamet has ever been on that's made the playoffs has been eliminated in a Game 7 in the second round of the playoffs. Every fucking team.
Can we trade him really quick?
Can we just drop him right now?
Can we
just take him out back and just old Yeller him? I don't know.
Maybe.
He's no longer on the team, and we win. I don't know.
He's dead. I cut off my pee-pee.
I've written many of these. Just go to brightsideofthesun.com. Read my latest piece on Landry Shamet. Just go ahead and read it. Literally, this is how it starts. This was retweeted by one of the SB Nation guys who runs all of SB Nation. And he reads, and every now and then, like he'll retweet. This is literally how the article starts. There are three things that the Phoenix Suns fans dread: death, taxes, and Landry Shamet minutes. The first two haunt our nightmares and have us popping melatonin to ensure adequate sleep. The third is haunting our waking hours. He just retweeted that. He's like, Jesus, Voided, tell me how you really feel. To quote the crazy old dad from Walk Hard, the wrong kid died. Wesley David in the chat.
Is he talking about the Ayton trade?
That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
The McHale trade?
And Suns Blackout, I told you before this thing started, I was going to say some shit I would regret. Well, there you go. I said old Yeller, Landry Shamet. Metaphorically, of course. Like, come on, you guys. He's so serious.
No, I think he's done, though. And the next step for Monty is just to focus on getting Ross out there. Someone in the media, you guys, I know you watch the show and you fucking love it. Just ask him, why are you not playing Ross?
Yeah, just why is Terrence Ross?
He won't get open. Just like Katie can't get open. What?
Yeah, whatever.
Put
he's doing
Ross out there.
He's playing the second team out there. He can get open. Trust me.
Even if he comes in and goes 1 for 7 like Payne, fine. We need some guys out there have some fucking confidence.
We doing a show Wednesday?
Shat their pants. Should we?
I don't know.
Could we just play it by ear?
Yeah, we could play it by ear. What we might do, Jamsters, is we might do a call-in show, a Jamsters React show, where we do what we've done before, where we put a link in the YouTube chat, and you could follow that link and come live on the show and give us your thoughts or not. I don't know what we're going to do. We might not do anything. We'll see how we're feeling Wednesday, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
Yeah, let's play it by ear. But it's gonna be a negative pod for sure. But
for sure. Yeah, I was hoping we'd be tied. We'd have.
That's the thing
is,
we can do that. But I'll
just
be
us talking about Landry.
Here.
It's just us talking about how I talked about Landry Shamet. Like, you're a horrible human being, John.
Yeah, we'll just say play Ross.
You're a bad person. I hope your cactus in the backyard wilts and dies.
Maybe if we get like an update on Chris Paul's injury or something, if we know he's going to play or not, maybe we can talk about adjustments or something. Who knows?
Who knows?
I don't know. He's not going to play anyways.
Yeah, he's not. On that note, Jamsters, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Play Baisley? No, we're not. We will not do the Baisley thing just like we did Aaron fucking Holiday last year. It's like Aaron Holiday is the answer. It's like if Aaron Holiday is the answer,
you're Jock, good minutes out there tonight. Good minutes by Jock.
Yeah, tonight. I don't mind Jock. Hey,
that's everyone did mind him.
Hey,
Except for me, Mr.
Matthew.
O2 Lissy.
Matthew has loved Jock Mandel for quite some time.
Jesus, this is a nice limo.
Yes, it is. Now suck my
Jock Landale. And have a good night, Jamsters.
Go home and suck your jocks.